Soft rain and welcome. Thank you, Holly. And welcome to the love and light that is Unity of Lawrence. In Unity, we begin everything with prayer. So let's take a centering breath and open to the divine in all of us as we listen to this prayer. On this day, we dedicate our hearts to peace on earth. We appreciate everyone's spiritual journey and the abundant blessings bestowed upon us. In unity with all who seek to express freedom, joy, and transformation, we welcome our divine inheritance as creators. In harmony with this truth, we live to the best of our ability with a peaceful mind, a peaceful heart, and a peaceful spirit. And so it is. Amen. Chaplains are trained to hold sacred space and pray with you one-on-one. So if there's anything in your heart to be held in prayer, we invite you to see either Diane Silver or Holly Taylor after the service today at the front of the sanctuary. And now let's do that other thing we love, which is rising as we are able and willing to sing with Holly, If It's to Be. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. And if I speak the truth, let me speak the truth. And if I'm lost in doubt, let me believe. I know I can be the angel I want to see. And if it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. And if I'm tired and stressed, let me stop and rest. And if I'm feeling hurt, let me forget. I know I can be the change I want to see. And if it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. Let's greet our neighbors this morning. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, If I dream of peace, let me be the peace. When I start from love, I am mine. And I know I can be the change I want to see. And if it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. It's up to me. It's up to me. Well, there it is. Love in action. Not enough to think it, not enough to just be it, but to be it in action. Wonderful group of people to celebrate that with. Thank you. Well, as we settle back into our seats, it's time for us to reaffirm our intentions, beginning with Unity's founding principle. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And now our Unity of Lawrence vision statement. United in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And our mission statement. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. And so it is. And so is our guest song musician today. Catherine Lorenzen is a singer-songwriter in Kansas City who wrote her first song at age 11. She has played with many different bands, and as a solo artist, she's been fortunate to win various songwriting awards. You can find her music on Spotify and YouTube. As always, she is grateful for the chance to share with the Unity of Lawrence community. So let's welcome back Catherine.
Thank you so much. I'm always so grateful and just full-hearted to be in this room with this community, and I thank you each and every time for the invitations that you give me. For preparing for today, I love the theme of this service and the message that Robin will be leading us with today. And as I was contemplating what songs I have written that are about nature and the earth and the blessings of our physical world, I was having trouble coming up with anything because I usually write about human stuff. And so my sister, Susan Beeler, reminded me that I had this song that I wrote with my dear friend Daniel McCormick a long, long time ago when I lived in Charleston, South Carolina. The song is called Ocean, and I think it's particularly helpful for us here in the Midwest when we have all of the sky and the prairie and the forests, and that's our natural world that we think of all the time. And we tend to forget that most of the Earth's surface is covered by ocean. Leave behind your silver chains, your structured sanity, your pain, success, and haste, your wasted electricity, knowledge of tomorrow, the counting of the days, your sin and your redemption, your crime and what it pays, and the ocean whispers, ocean, oh, ocean. Swallowed up by more than what you know, dance you do with them will leave you afraid and alone. But after a while, you belong to the ocean. The ocean takes care of her own. Your children gone to cities, your garden gone to sea. The end of your desires, the start of what you need. Drama falls to marshland, monuments to dust. Anger drifts like shifting sand, armor turns to rust, and the ocean whispers, ocean, oh, ocean. Hear it murmuring your name, find you can't return from where you came. Your social diseases won't live in these breezes. The past you cannot atone, are lost in a kiss of the breath of the ocean. The ocean takes care of her own. Ocean, ocean. Thank you.
And what a perfect way to segue in with Robin and her message for us today. So, as we prepare for that message, Robin Goff is the founder and co-spiritual leader of the Light Center, an alternative unity ministry retreat center near Baldwin City, Kansas. For over 27 years, she has spearheaded heaven on earth, the creation of sacred space on a 95-acre sanctuary near Baldwin. Robin is also a licensed unity teacher. So welcome back, Robin.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Catherine, for that beautiful song. Yeah. Good morning. Such a nice gathering today. So I was listening to one of those webinar kind of things called Save All We Can. And it was a lot of brilliant young people talking about all different aspects of things that we can be doing to address climate change. And it was really inspiring. And some of the speakers talked a good bit about our lived experience going through all of this change that's going on. And so as I was listening, it's like, I don't know how to clean all the plastic out of the ocean. You know, it's on my heart, and I care about it, and I see the pictures, and like, I want to do something. I want to go out there with a net and pull it all out, but I can't do that. And I'm really motivated to do regenerative agriculture, but to start doing that on 60 acres costs thousands and thousands of dollars worth of fences, If you're going to put animals there, first step is fencing this whole thing. And so I have it on my heart, and I think about all these things a lot and feel a lot about it, but like, where do I begin? I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to actually take the giant steps to get off of fossil fuel, for instance, get onto alternative energy. There's so much involved when you start really looking into taking these steps, and a lot of times a lot of money involved to take those steps. So I was getting a little bit kind of in a muddle about it, and then one of the gals, let's see, her name is Sue Mosier, said, "Burned out people cannot serve a burning planet." And I went, bingo, okay, shift in thinking right there. She said, our life's work is to find new and more effective ways to help courageous leaders imagine a better future and work with others to make their dreams a reality. Okay, so that started really clicking for me. It's like, all right, so what if what we know, especially people who've studied a long time through unity or other new thought ways of thinking, looking at things metaphysically and so forth, what if what we are about, what we bring to the table is a cultural change movement? Because when you think about it, the things that are going on in the American culture frequently are root causes of many of the climate impacts for the whole planet. We do way more than our share here of the pollution side of things and the overuse of resources. So I started thinking about that. So what is a cultural change movement? What is that? How do we, people in this room, courageous leaders, how do we look at that and be that and make that happen? So I started to play around a bit with Angeles Arian's Fourfold Way, which I just love her work. She's a cultural anthropologist, and I have been studying about the Fourfold Way or implementing that in different ways for many, many years. So it's 4 steps. Show up, pay attention to what has heart and meaning, tell the truth without blame or judgment, and be open to outcome but not attached to outcome. 4 simple steps. Maybe simple. So I started to delve into that a little bit more in this context. And the first one, show up, immediately took me into my story I've been talking to you about for some time about the imaginal cells. Now, how many of you are familiar with that term by now? Imaginal cells. Good, you get an A. And so briefly, the story of the imaginal cells is much like the American culture. There's this caterpillar going around and eating up everything, just devouring everything, eating up, using up, burning up all of the resources. Yeah. So this story is such a great metaphor for not only where we are in our lives on this continent, but also how we might make a shift. Okay, so the caterpillar is devouring everything, and then something triggers it to stop. And it goes and finds a stick or branch and attaches to that and starts to form a chrysalis. Within the chrysalis, then, there are some cells called imaginal cells, and this is a scientific term. I mean, this is used scientifically. So the imaginal cells are the only ones inside this chrysalis who understand and hold the blueprint for this new entity that will be formed called a butterfly. So perhaps those of us sitting in this room are somewhat like the imaginal cells, or a lot like the imaginal cells, holding an image of where we're going, of what it is that we're building for this world. So I love this. At first, the imaginal cells, who are the seeds of this new form, this butterfly form that they're going to build, begin to be eaten up, devoured by the caterpillar. It sees them as a threat, as something separate, something different. And I've felt that at times, you know, like I'm a little different than some of these people around me, and I feel like they're going to gobble me up. So what has to happen is that these imaginal cells need to get stronger. So they begin to persist and make more connections with each other. So something tells these imaginal cells, who hold the DNA for the butterfly, to begin to connect more with each other. And so they form cooperative networks, clusters and clumps that begin resonating at the same frequency. There's a key. Resonating at the same frequency and passing information back and forth among themselves until they hit a tipping point. So what a beautiful image that is, that we can connect amongst ourselves, share information with each other, and move toward a tipping point, at which point we move to form into 3D this new world that we're building. So the interesting thing also is that the imaginal cells start out as a single cell. And then as they merge, they become a multi-cell organism. So each one of these clumps of imaginal cells that come together differentiate. And these might hold the DNA for how to build the head, and these for how to build the body, and these for how to build the wings. So the differentiation is very key there, that the ooze that they're in, the ooze of the caterpillar body dissolving and turning into this goop, that's undifferentiated. But the imaginal cells begin to find like-minded cells, other beings, and begin to clump. In that process, they become stronger. And they aren't overcome or devoured any longer by the caterpillar. So that to me is a really inspiring and exciting image. And that's why I keep going back to it. I've talked about it here many, many times, but I need to keep remembering it and to be reminded of it. So this is our instruction then to show up. As an imaginal cell being, you hold a piece of the blueprint. Your piece is every bit as important as your piece and your piece and your piece and my piece. Every single imaginal cell is needed to build the butterfly. So we make the choice. We choose to show up and to find our tribe, to find the others who have a differentiation like my own, you know. So fun. Okay, so that's show up. Then the number 2 of the fourfold way is pay attention to what has heart and meaning. So paying attention for me is partly that I want to know what's going on out there. Now, I know a lot of people say, nope, I don't watch the news anymore. It's too depressing. It takes me down. It's not positive, so on and so forth. And I get that. But I also believe that it's really important, for me at least, to know what's going on out there with our brothers and sisters all over this world, because there's a lot, isn't there? You know, I mean, even Canada on fire, that's pretty close to home. I have lots of family impacted by that poor air quality. And so I don't want to stick my head in the sand and not know all of that. And yet we can pick and choose, right, what we're listening to, the quality of the news that we're taking in and the information that we're taking in. So we learn to seek it out in good ways. Also, there is something called pre-traumatic stress syndrome. We all know post-traumatic stress syndrome. But a lot of people have been using this label to talk about feelings of helplessness, anxiety, upsetting mental images, intrusive thoughts, grieving for the earth and generations to come. Have that? Yeah, I do. Lots of times. And if I just am with my grandchildren, I'm overcome by it, you know. So this is part of our choosing not only to know what's going on, but to address what we're feeling in relationship to that. To be real about what's going on for me and my other fellow imaginal selves, because we are paying attention. So that's a key. So I think also that it's helpful to seek out people who are talking about what is good that's happening out there. There's so much juice that comes from hearing about creative people, especially young people. They're on it, man. Doing really creative, imaginative things to make a difference for the planet. They come up with new ideas that I might not have ever captured, you know? And so it's looking for where are those people, where are those projects around that bring me excitement about, yes, here is something that people are doing something that makes sense to me, and I want to feed that. Maybe it's remote, maybe it's some organization that's out working in the oceans, and you want to support that, great. But also there's probably people right here in Lawrence doing the most amazing creative things you could ever think of, because there's a lot of creative people around Lawrence and vicinity, yeah. Okay, then the third one is tell the truth without blame or judgment. So that's the hook right there. So our country is at an impasse. The red ones and the blue ones are at an impasse, okay, which is keeping us from moving forward in any good way. Pretty much across the board in our political system, in our governance. So, all right, I'm guilty. I hold a lot of blame and judgment toward people who don't think the way I think about it, or don't believe what I believe about it, don't vote the way I vote, yeah? And so if all of us are holding blame and judgment against each other, whichever side of the divide you're on, then we're all enmeshed in this blame and judgment game, you know? That's gonna get us nowhere fast. So that's one of the reasons I don't talk about climate change issues in certain circles of people. And you may do the same. It's that blame and judgment game that's out there. There's another reason that I sometimes don't talk about it. It's because, I love this term, somebody coined this term, I'm gonna be an eco-pooper, which is like a party pooper. You know, you're at a dinner or party with people and you don't want to bring up this subject because it's such a downer, you know? You don't want to be an eco-pooper. So it's true, isn't it? You know, there's times you just sort of shove it under the rug because it seems like, And the other thing is that it's like there's a broken record about all these broken records. You know, the broken heat records, the broken flood records, the broken fire records. Every area you can think of, there's broken records. And so we get to this point of fatigue. It's like I can't even remember where the last earthquake was, you know? Or lava flow, or fire, or flood. I mean, they're so constant and so many that we're in this fatigue from the overload, from all of that. But we can honestly feel it together. So that's about telling the truth without blame or judgment. So I've noticed that there's times when I think, okay, I am aware, I do watch some good news programs, and I do know what's going on out there, and I'm not really doing anything to stop it or fix it or make it better or whatever. And so then I can go to shame, you know? And so isn't that, again, just blame or judgment of me? Yeah. And so learning how we can stay in truth and talk about what we understand is fact as best we can, and talk about that without layering on the blame and judgment. That's a workout for us, I think. So I've been listening to Charles Eisenstein lately, and he's got a new program out he's doing about how do we maintain our sanity over the next 5 years. So he was talking in this, I think it was Asheville or someplace where there's a lot going on that's really positive, and he said, I love coming back here. It's like the mothership for me. So this feels like this room, yeah? I need to rest in its embrace and serve my role as its crew. I need to replenish myself in a field of sanity so that when I interact with the political world, which he is doing, I remember that its rules are not reality and its assumptions are not truth. Pretty good. Then he went on, this really got to me. The things I think about are so at odds with so much of the dominant culture that I must seek out agreement in order to continue holding these beliefs. That's why we need to gather in this clump. I must seek out agreement in order to continue holding these beliefs. Belief is not an individual endeavor. Belief is a field. Yeah, so we're creating a field of belief, a field of consciousness here in this room. Sanity is a group project. Don't you love that? And I think that that's becoming more and more of an issue for us all as things mount up, speed up, get bigger and bigger. And then the last one of the fourfold way is be open to outcome, but not attached to outcome. So I had some fun with this one. You know, we don't really know what's coming. We don't know what this planet's going to look like in 5 years, much less 10 years or 30, you know. And so we just have to make it up. And maybe if we create this field of belief, we can make it up to be what we want it to be. Yeah? Yeah. So I came up with some possible scenarios for how it could play out. One, we could burn it all up. And then we could experience the path of a dying planet. And then what would happen? If we die, well, then our souls would go on in some other way. Not the end of us, you know? So that was, okay, that's one possible, that could happen. Another is, we could work at the level of consciousness and create changes for the good and build this utopia world that we want, the world that we know is possible. Yeah. We could turn into light beings and go to another dimension. Now that's an interesting, maybe that's why we're doing all these rocket ships to Mars. Maybe we're, no? Or maybe star beings are going to come down and say, okay, you guys are pretty rudimentary, but we're really, really advanced, and we're going to help you, and we're going to show you a way out of this dilemma that you're in. So that's kind of a fun, I love that. I love to think of that, that all these sightings of paranormal ships, whatever you want to call them, are real, and they're really doing something for the good to help us. Or we could learn to live again in many ways as the indigenous people do. So we have people on this planet right now, and we have had back through thousands upon thousands of years, people who were totally telepathic. And wouldn't that change the whole scenario? If we could communicate with the plants, the animals, the soil, the water, all of it, and each other? Oh my. Wouldn't that change the whole game plan of how we live? Because we would be back in this relationship of respect for the planet, which is where indigenous people live. That's why they're all out there as activists right now, because they know what's important. And they're standing up for it. So really and truly, it's about the cultural movement to oneness. And we can come at that from many, many, many different angles, right? Think about all the different things that we're standing up for, we're being activists for in our own way. But the bottom line is coming to a place stepping out of the blame and judgment impasse, and coming to a place of acceptance. That I may not agree with you, but I accept you, and I accept that you have a reason that you think the way you think, and that it came up from when you were a child and what you were taught and all of that. So, truthfully, it's time for us to clump together. Yeah, to form those differentiated, connected tribal groups of people that you're just drawn to. When you're with these people, you're speaking the same language and you make sense to each other. And that feeds back to you, oh, I am in sanity. In this moment, I'm in an oasis of sanity. So we want to begin resonating at the same frequency with those around us. And that's something we practice here on a regular basis. Learning how to come into that deep place of meditation, that deep place of resonance, so that those frequencies grow and take us over to this tipping point. So let's remain conscious of seeking to vibrate at the frequency of that which we want to create for this planet. Yeah. And so it is. And we carry on.
Okay, let's vibrate together. I wrote this song for a specific service here at Unity of Lawrence. And I've played it here a number of times. And you all always tell me that you love it, and I think of it now as your song. So this is your song, Love is a River. And it's very simple, and the three sections of the song, the first one is love, the second one is joy, the third one is peace. And so as you feel so moved, please make noises with me if you like. Sing in unison, sing in harmony, sing a phrase here or there, whatever you're moved to do. Love, love, love. Love is a river of light and soul. A river of light and soul. Let us rise now and go to the river. Let us go. Let us go to the river of love, love, love. Let us go to the river of love. joy, joy, joy. Joy is a river of light and soul, a river of light and soul. Let us rise now and go to the river. Let us go. Let us go to the river of joy, joy, joy. Let us go. Let us go to the river of joy. Peace, peace, peace. Peace is a river of light and soul, a river of light and soul. Let us rise now and go to the river. Let us go. Let us go to the river of peace, peace, peace. Let us go. Let us go to the river of joy, joy, joy. Let us go. Let us go to the river of love, love, love. Let us go. Let us go to the river of love. Let us go to the river of love, love, love.
And so we turn within to that river of love, peace, joy that is there and flowing through us all the time. But when we come together consciously in this circle, this space, this field, we can create a greater stream of energy flowing in and through us. And as always, we call in all of the assistance that is available to us right here and right now. All of those beings that surround us and help us. Not necessarily in bodies any longer, but nonetheless very active in our lives. Angels, guides, ascended masters, star energies, earth energies. Just open to that. For a moment, notice that you are a soul inside this physical body. So feel into that part of you that we call the soul. It's a collection of wisdom from lifetimes. And so focused in on your physical being and your soul, we invite in this powerful river of pure love that comes to us from earth and sky. So you might open at the top of your head and the bottom of your feet. Invite these streams to flow and to merge in you, earth and sky. And to radiate forth from you, through you, into this world. And we take just a moment to feel ourselves vibrating at the same frequency of unconditional love that is embodied by every person in this room. And as we feel into that, we feel it growing stronger. You might even feel yourself kind of expanding to allow more of it to move in. And it is in these moments of coming together in this collective of frequency that we find our strength. The clarity to deal with all that lies ahead, that all that is happening in our lives, in our families, in our workplace. We embody this frequency of pure love. So receive this sound that will carry frequencies to penetrate even the densest parts of your energy field or your body, and receive even more than you have dared to ask. And we carry these frequencies forth into our world as the imaginal beings that we are, growing ever stronger toward the tipping point. And for this truth, we are so grateful. Thank you, sweet spirit. And so it is. Aho.
all around the waters rising. Stress abounds and fires burn. There's confusion now in everyone on how to mend and what to learn. If I can pause to feel the Spirit, the moment's always mine to choose. Well, it's then I hear the music, the singing of the muse. When it seems there's too much trouble, for joy and beauty to be found, just when we think we cannot feel it, quiet inspiration comes around. We all have a gift within us, even when we feel the blues, when we pause to hear the music, it's the singing of the muse. When we pause to hear the music, it's the singing of the muse.
As our ushers come forward, this is the time for us to come together and celebrate all that we have. And so as we take those gifts we each carry in our hands, in our hearts, let us affirm together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And it's as the love offering is collected, let's join Holly in singing Return Again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. to what you are. Return to who you are. Return to where you are. Born and reborn again. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. Return again. Return again. Return to the land of your soul. And as our ushers come forward, here is our prayer of thanks to listen to. We are grateful and we bless the flow of good that supports our unity community. We bless the givers who give their time, talent, and treasure. We stand in the knowing that the flow of good goes forth only to return again and again. And so it is. Amen. And in that flow are opportunities always. First, a special welcome to our guests today. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like more information about the Unity of Lawrence and Unity Movement, please pick up a welcome packet that's in the foyer. And also, please feel free to join us at our potluck cookout. Join us outside or inside. Actually, it's downstairs. I'm looking at Kathy, yes. So return again, but downstairs. All are welcome. There's plenty for all. And now let's welcome Board Vice President John Pryor for an announcement.
Can someone remind me why I'm here? No, just kidding. I just have something to share with you. For many of you, if you didn't know, for the past 3 years, we've been leasing space downstairs to a small school called the School of Love. And we don't know why, but they're no longer going to be leasing from us. They're closing their doors. And so I just wanted to make you aware of that. There will be a sign out front at some point advertising that we have space to rent, but it doesn't mean anything about this space. We're still here and going strong. And we are open to the prosperity of what comes next. Thank you.
Yeah. All things grow in that flow. So we call forward our next visitors to that space. Thank you, John. Well, while we are thinking about space, embark on a transformative journey through our captivating and immersive event, Soul Harmonies, a celestial sound journey. Experience the profound power of light, language, guided imagery, and an enchanting ensemble of singing bowls, tuning forks, and celestial soundscapes, all skillfully woven together by the gifted Reverend Danielle Morningstar. Prepare to be transported to a realm of deep relaxation by the gifted Reverend and inner exploration as the harmonious vibrations uplift your spirit and awaken your senses. Don't miss this extraordinary opportunity to reconnect with your inner self and unlock the limitless potential within. It is this coming Friday evening, June 16th at 6 p.m. Cost is a suggested love offering of $25. So immerse yourself in sound in this sacred space this Friday. We are also hosting a food barrel through the month of June. Just Food Pantry needs items to fill their shelves, so you can pick up a list in the foyer and let's fill it to overflowing. And then join Phil Roger for a discussion titled A Brief Overview of Eastern Philosophy on Thursday, June 22nd at 6 p.m. Lessons in Survival Italian meets today at 4. And remember that there is open meditation on Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 6:30. Please join us next Sunday when we welcome back Reverend Mary Wood as she brings us the message, No Other Way, special music with Sugarfoot Detour. Yeah. And so now it's time to rise as we are able to sing the peace song together. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let